Welcome to People Are Everything, the show where I ask my guests, who are the 5 people that have shaped the person you are today? And today we have a very, very special guest. Well, someone extremely special to me. Her name's Julia Bird. And I kind of not joked recently that I think I set this podcast thing up just so that one day she'd be a guest of mine. I've known Julia for, 30 years. She's been there for me for so many occasions in my life. She's wise, she's warm, she's funny. And most impressively of all, she's dedicated her entire life to helping others, particularly children who've been traumatized. She's an absolute gift to the world, and I can't wait to share her with you. So, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Julia Bird. Good morning, Julia Bird. Welcome to People Are Everything, first of all. How are you?
Hello, Julia.
I tell you what, I'm so tickled to be talking to you. I can't tell you. It's such a treat because I do, obviously, as part of this shindig, meet lots of new and interesting people. But you are my most favourite, and I have been chasing you for about however long to come on this thing. And we've known each other a very long time. So I'm going to be on my A game today, Julia, because you deserve that. And also, I don't know, I probably will be a bit goofy too because of our relationship. But it's so lovely to have you, and you look fabulous. I love this background, and you're so colourful.
Thank you. And thank you for that lovely introduction as well, Julia. I'm really delighted too. And it's been such a long time. I've known you since you were very young. And I was young and thin.
You always say that.
No.
But we have known each other a long time. Probably, 25 years or so? Probably about that, isn't it?
I think maybe a bit more than that, actually, Julia.
Oh, God.
Actually,
you're right. It's probably 30, isn't it? I'm 55 now.
Yeah.
And I remember you were very naughty even then. I think you would have been about, I don't know.
I'm 78 now, so.
I'm no good at maths on the spot.
I'm not either.
But anyway, you were young and mischievous, and now you're slightly older and mischievous. But listen, we will get into who you are and what you're all about in a minute. But there's just so many things I'd love to chat with first. First of all, how was your morning swim this morning? And please tell everybody about that.
Oh, it was beautiful. I go every day, and in the sea. I'm so lucky to live in such a beautiful place, as you know, Julia, of course. And this morning I had to go in the estuary because the sea is so rough at the moment and the tide is high, so we just can't get in where we usually go. So we went towards Batson down the creek, if you remember.
Yeah.
And we go when it's dark, 7:15 this morning, and as we get in, it's so cold, and it's always agony getting in, and it's such an extraordinary sensual experience that lights me up in an extraordinary way. I get in and my body's a bit achy, and within seconds I'm so alive and so caught into the beauteousness of the coldness, the saltiness, the wind. We have a heron who flies beside us sometimes, and we had a cormorant come right up in front of us. So it's beautiful, and we're staying in about 15 minutes at the moment because otherwise your body gets too cold. And it's so stunning. I'm so delighted to live here and to be able to do this every day, and I'm sure it's what's kept me going so long.
Honestly, and for everybody else who doesn't know you here, first of all, let's remind everybody it's now December. Just saying, in the UK, I have an international audience, Julia. Just saying.
Oh wow!
Yes, very, very many people, particularly in the US, listen to my little ramblings. So it's December, so it's probably, I don't know, 5-6 degrees that time.
No, it's warmer than that. It's about 10, I think, at the moment.
Oh well, 10 then.
Yeah.
Still freezing cold. And for everybody else, because you're not going to say this, but I will. You just go in your swimmers, don't you? You don't put in this wetsuits
go
on
in.
and all that. You just
Yeah.
pop your swimmers on and off you go.
Sometimes though, because it's dark, I get them on inside out, which is always very embarrassing when I get out, because then everybody can see, you know.
And just while we're finishing on that theme, that you did a kind of a sponsored swim, didn't you, recently around Burr Island, wasn't it?
I did a more recent one than that, actually, Julia, because I was going to out Burr Island, but it was too rough. So we went out from North Sands, and it was really rough, and the tide was dropping and the wind was blowing offshore, which helped me hugely because it was about a mile swim. I don't know if you remember, right to the end of Bolt Head. So it's about a mile and a little bit, I think. And it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The wind was blowing and the tide went, no, no, it's on and on. So it was easy. And not only that, I got £4,500, which was wonderful because
Amazing.
we were supporting this fabulous project of a school in Ukraine that was bombed, and they took the school from Ukraine to Vilnius in Lithuania, and we were part of teaching the new school about stuff to do with trauma. And I got £4,500 for them. So I was so delighted.
You are amazing, honestly. I can't wait for people to get to know you on this podcast because I'm just such a fan. Listen, that's just a small piece of who you are. We've known each other a long time. We've established that. Rather than me try and summarize you, why don't you just do that for us now? Just a little bit about who you are, what you're all about, or all the things that matter to you.
Okay. Okay. Well, I live in this most beautiful place. The house was left to me by two old ladies called Pat and Jean, and who'd known for years. And every day I thank them. As a result of them, I started this project that's called What Comes Around Goes Around, which is a free project that I started in Sulcombe, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So they really initiated that. I love living here. My passion is my work, which has been, about supporting children, young people and adults actually to understand the trauma and how it shaped their lives and what to do about it. So that's my real passion. And alongside that is my animals, Maudie, my lovely darling dog, and my two boy cats, Zenny and Jaspy. My life has been challenging. I'm delighted to be who I am and where I am now. One morning when I was swimming last week, and I was thinking about this actually, the sun was really shining and it was frosty and beautiful in the sea, and I just had the sun shining on my chest as it came up, and I was thinking how grateful I am to be alive and to have access to peace and the love and compassion that I now have in my heart. It's been 78 years of doing it, but so I don't know what else to say other than that, Julia.
Well, I think from if I can pick up on a couple of those things. First of all, your dedication to helping people with trauma. I think there's a long, eminent history of you doing that, and it's not just in this country. I know you travel, and when I think of you and the work you do, it's extraordinary. It's such a big part of who you are. Is this idea of, and it's not just one-to-one. I know you've done a lot of work on scale. You want to make an impact. You want to make a difference at scale, particularly with young people at schools who may have the threat of being excluded. I know you've done a lot of work in that area, particularly where you live. I know you're an extraordinary innovator. Technology. I mean, I know we had a few technical gremlins getting online today, and I think you're currently on your mobile phone. But that said, you've never been somebody to shy from technology. You wanted always to be on the cutting edge of what can we do to reach more people, get more people into maintain them within mainstream education, for example. And I've had the benefit of your wisdom my whole life, and I feel really bad actually. I don't think I've ever given you any money. I've given you my love and my company.
It's good enough.
But, it is good enough. Is it? Oh, good. I'm glad. But having been on the receiving end of your wisdom for 30 years, you are a gift to the world, Julia. You absolutely just are. And, and it doesn't surprise me at all that you summarised with such, with such a humble approach to it. But no, I think you're amazing. And I think the work you do is extremely powerful and needed, all the more now with everything that's happening with young people.
Absolutely.
And keep going in that water to make sure you stay fully fit to keep helping everybody. But listen, I know we've got to get into the whole format of the 5, and I'm so excited to hear. But before we do that, I want to talk about one specific element, and maybe you're going to cover this in your 5. But when you said you're so grateful to be at peace with yourself, you're of an age where, we both share one very fundamental thing in common, which is, we're both gay women. We're both women that have, through different reasons, struggled to become our authentic self. And I hope this is okay for us to talk about.
Sure.
But, I came to extremely late. I was 50 when I first sort of stepped out into the world. And, people often say, well, you must have known. And I say it was always bumbling around. And I remember back in the day, you and I would touch on it now and then, but I was never that brave about it with you. Even though I know you would be the person that would be the right person to fully talk to about it. But my struggle was more about expectation on me, not necessarily what society would do. Whereas with you have of that time where society and people close to you really wasn't okay, was it?
You can't know.
And for you to now be fully expressed as well is so wonderful. I love that for you. So I just want to know if there's anything you want to say about that, or I think it's such a fundamental part of who you are.
Yeah, I think that's right, Julia. I mean, not only was homophobia absolutely rampant, it was also, illegal for anyway. And I was a teacher. I loved being a teacher, and I couldn't be out. And my parents, they made my sister leave home because she too was gay. And she was 6 years older than me. So at about age 12, I knew I didn't really understand, but I knew it was a terrible thing, and you could get chucked out of home for it. So it was really hard and impacted hugely, I think, on my confidence and my capacity to hold my head above the parapet and be myself. And I mean, that's been, a lifelong struggle for me, really. And I'm so pleased for young people today that it's so much easier, but it's still not easy. Still people are homophobic. The sort of hatred of difference is in whatever way it is. But I am very pleased that it's so much easier to be who you are.
Well, I love that you have spent a good many years of your life being fully you, and I'm really thankful for that. But listen, let's get into this. And our first question I always ask everybody is how did you find the process of choosing 5? And I'm so wanting to hear your answer because you know so many people. I'm just thinking, how on earth did you choose 5?
It was hard, Julia, and I've been changing my mind this morning.
I bet. I completely imagine it.
And I was just, I don't know, really. I've kept changing it. When I was swimming this morning, I was going, oh no. And also somebody helped me with my headphones, which of course I'm not using this morning. And I think I should choose her because she saves my life electronically and with devices. Her name's Rachel, by the way.
Well, there we go. We've done that bit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it was interesting. It was a lovely way of reflecting. I do a lot of reflecting on my life anyway, and on whatever's going on. I'm very excited by that whole process of reflecting, like now with you, looking at your lovely face, and thinking of all the years we've known each other and how different we both of us are, and that we still know each other. So I love reflecting, and it's a very potent way of deepening my understanding. So I'm very pleased to do it, and also touched in my heart that you've asked me, Julia.
Oh, you were on my list from day one. You just played hard to get this whole time. Well, listen, well, let's get into it then. And
Yeah.
with the caveat that, you know, of course you can't include everybody that's ever impacted your life. I know there's been so many, but, and I have forced you into this. You could break a few rules here and there. You just did with Rachel, but, just kidding. But no, I have forced the issue, if you like, of it being 5, really mostly for sort of, you know, sticking to a sort of format. But I do recognize that it's not expansive enough for you, for the life you've had. But let's get into it then. Who made the number 1 slot? Can't wait.
Okay, so when I look back and thought, okay, here I am now, who has had the most impact on me? And that's my mum.
Yeah,
for sure. And can I tell you about her?
of course.
So she had the most horrendous life. She was abandoned age 3 in France with strangers. And of course, that massively impacted on her capacity to attach with me and my brother and sister. And so she was what we would call avoidant attached. She couldn't connect. She was very defended by that trauma, which of course she wasn't able to deal with because, you know, in those days, nobody understood how such a trauma absolutely shapes the person that she was. And so I'm saying that because this is not about fault and blame. I loved her. She was a gentle soul. She adored animals, which has shaped me hugely. And her poor attachment with me shaped me hugely.
Yeah.
I had a very, very difficult start in my life because if you don't attach well, which is over 50% of us, just by the way, then the whole of our lives is absolutely determined by that deficit, that lack of relationship, that lack of feeling that you matter, that you're worth it. And what you do as a little baby and a little girl is you believe it's your fault. So I believed it was my fault. I wasn't good enough. It wasn't that it was to do with my mum's poor attachment, non-attachment. You know, it was nothing to do with that. It was me. It was my fault. So that sort of a whole sense of paucity of capacity to be in relationship, to be that you have worth, that you matter, you know, that you have value. It really was a start in my life which shaped everything. I also think I must have had an angel beside me when I was born because somehow my heart was kept warm. My heart was, I think, touched by love. I don't understand why. I didn't really come across many people when I was little, other people in my family, to make a difference in terms of attachment. You know, that came along quite a long time later. And I spent my whole life while she was alive trying to please her. And then subsequently trying to please other women, you know, all my life, in order to try to get the look of love that I didn't get from her. And of course, you can never get it. What I finally learned, thank you, Mum, Vera, thank you so much, that you have to go inside and I had to go inside myself to understand that actually I have that within me.
Yeah.
It's a long haul to get there. I'm truly, although it was awful, I am truly pleased to be where I am now, and I wouldn't be where I am now if it hadn't have been for my darling mom. You know, she was alcoholic. You know, she coped with her pain through self-medication, and that was very difficult. You know, I'm pretty dodgy around alcohol now. I don't like it. I you know, it's it certainly impacted on me, and I certainly have much compassion for people who self-medicate, because I know the pain is so great. That's why you do it, drugs, alcohol, whatever the addiction actually is. So that's sort of a brief story of her, and how she survived, I don't know. And the impact on all of us in my family was huge. And it made me understand so much about the intergenerational transfer of trauma and my attachment style, which is what we call anxious attachment style, which is, the yearning for the beloved, the yearning for the eyes of the beloved on you. So thank you. Thank you, Vera. Thank you very much. And she's been dead for she was 77. She's been dead for quite a few years now. And I have such love in my heart for her. I don't know how she did what she did,
Yeah.
Her first attachment was to a black German Shepherd in France called Black. And my attachment has very much been to all sorts of animals that I've had in my life.
Honestly, I'm smiling whilst you're telling me things that are, deeply, heartbreaking if you were just telling that story without, I don't know, the knowledge I have of you is that I know your heart is big. I know your gratitude is huge. And I know your self-compassion now is boundless as well. So it's like, I'm smiling because I know exactly what you mean from experiencing you. But actually, I also know that it was it's a devastating early years kind of experience for you. And I suppose I'm also smiling with a bit of knowing, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I had the same. I'm called Julia, firstly. And secondly, I had exactly not the same circumstance, but certainly that yearning for the the smile of the beloved, this idea that you can only really do that for yourself if you haven't had that early investment. I get it completely. I haven't mastered it yet. I still keep looking for it, and I have to catch myself and go, no. Only you can provide this. Only you can look after you the way you need to be looked after.
The terrible trouble with that, Julia, is that what I've learned is that I had to really contact and embody the terrible pain of the loss of my mother.
Yeah.
And in order, I've done a lot of therapeutic work on myself, and it's only sort of comparatively recently that the embodiment of pain, and then I found the strength, the will, the love, I don't know what, to actually know that I have this inside myself. But I had to experience that pain first before I could get to a place of peace, really.
And I'm still yet to do that. I think I understand it on a cognitive level, which is not helpful in some ways, because being up in your head, as you know, with brains like ours, where we kind of can, get into deep rabbit holes, isn't that helpful. And I do know what you mean. You have to embody it and feel it and know it. And I'm at the cusp of that. I think I really feel like I'm coming into that place, but I know I need to do some pretty decent, dark, deep work on that before that happens.
It's a process, I word, but it is. It's like steps along the way, Julia. Every step counts, and it's not bad, good, or anything else. It's just if we decide in our lives to go for truth, whatever that is, then there's a pathway to it, really. But that's what I was talking about, and that's what my mum shows me to get me on the path of it.
No, I get it, and I guess I suppose I'm just sort of half thinking out loud of I need to get on and do that. That's kind of why I was saying what I was saying. But no, Vera, I think if I was doing my 5, my mum would be on the list for the similar reasons. And it's like, which would be unexpected, given I didn't really know her. But I know what you mean. It sends you on a certain trajectory of a way of life and a way of being. Yeah. And we should all be very grateful for that in many ways. Well, listen, I'm glad Mum is top of the list. All right. Anything you'd like to say more on her, or would you like to move on to number 2?
No, I'll move on to number 2.
All right. Number 2, please.
It's Leonard Cohen.
Oh.
I was not good at learning in school because I was so distracted by my own trauma. But I managed to scrape enough passes to get into a college in Chichester, and I when I was at school, I was always good at helping kids do things, and so I was then supported really well to become a teacher, and so. At training college, we had a chapel, and in the chapel there was a cellar, and we used to have these. It was a coffee bar, and we used to have people coming to perform. And I was about 19, I think, and pretty lost, but also beginning to understand that I really could do something because it seemed like I was beginning to be noticed at being good at being a teacher. And this young woman sang Suzanne in the coffee bar, and it was a real turning point for me because I think it was a turning point of understanding something different about spirituality. Something, I don't know, she feeds me tea and oranges that come all the way from China. It was, I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense properly to me, but it touched a place in my heart that opened something that pushed me on a real desire to understand more about the meaning of God, of life, of truth, and he certainly started me on that trajectory. I have wonderful memories of him as well, going to the Albert Hall to see him in concert, and going as a hippie with a sheet on, I think, and getting as high as a kite on the smoke from the weed that was just, filling the Albert Hall, and watching him and listening to his beautiful poetry, and he had two beautiful young women singing with him, and I went with my sister, and it was a love that we shared of Leonard Cohen, and to this day, of course, I still love Leonard Cohen. But my love was for the poetry, his words, his music, his taking me into those places that it's hard to find words. So he took me beautifully into about, I don't know, 25 years ago, and I joined the Diamond Approach, the Ridwan School, which is spiritual work that I do and has helped me hugely. So Leonard Cohen, his words, his poetry, his sweet, sweet heart, took me to that place where I began to really explore that part of me, and for which I'm hugely grateful. It's added some dimension, a dimension of God or whoever or whatever you call that otherness that allowed me to know that I am just nothing and everything beside the sea, beside my dog, beside you in this world, that we are one as one. And that to me is the most wonderful gift, the most wonderful.
Amazing. And obviously, again, I've experienced your spirituality through just knowing you, and I know about the Ridwan experience and how that's so important to you. And I never knew that was where it was unlocked. I never knew it was Leonard Cohen. I just, I don't know, you kind of just assume people were, had it. You know what I mean? She just had it. She was like, maybe she was born with it. Was that Maybelline? Something like that, isn't it? You know what I mean? That you were just born with a deep spirituality, but actually, I guess some of us just get it unlocked. A moment, a feeling or an experience like that. And again, well, thank you, Leonard, because I've been a beneficiary of that too.
Thank you, Leonard.
Yes. So,
what they say was, everyone desires to sing a song with you now.
Oh, go on.
There.
Well, listen, I love it when people bring sort of people outside of their direct families and experience, because I think it, for anyone listening now, I hope people are going to go and check out, his work if they haven't done, so they can kind of see what you're getting at. And I think it's and I'm sure you won't be the only one that has had their life changed by his words. So thank you for that. That's brilliant. All right. Anything else on him? Or should we move on to 3?
No. Number 3 is a woman called Donna Brandes. She's a Canadian woman. She came into my life when I was in 1980 something, I think. I was a teacher. I loved teaching. I was pretty successful at it, but I never quite fitted into the systems. And she came over to the UK with this thing called student-centered learning, and it was honestly like I came home in what her philosophy was about education and learning, which was really about meeting the child where they are, meeting their needs, inspiring them, exciting them, but being beside them and allowing them to grow rather than putting stuff in on top of them. And she started, she came to West Sussex, which was where I was teaching. I went on a course, and an art teacher, a chap that I got to know well, Steve, and I went on her courses, and then sort of supported student-centered learning, the development of it in West Sussex. And then subsequent to that, I got a job in the London Borough of Newham as a teacher, as an advisor, an inspector and advisor. And I got the job, I think, because of my passion for student-centered learning. The London Borough of Newham was so in advance of anywhere else, particularly West Sussex. And they were, I was punching way above my weight going for the job, and I got it, I think, because of that passion that I have for putting the child, the baby, the young person, the adult at the heart of whatever it is, and meeting them where they are, rather than having some sort of assumptions of where they should be, and leaving them in a place where they're lost and alone. So thank you, Donna Brandes, for that. She's still now my work. Still, she's influencing me. This week I was with somebody else that is my next person actually, and we were training people online on the trauma-informed schools and community work, and she used an activity that Donna Brandes used in 1980. Thought, wow. Oh, go, things don't die. And very, very sadly, Julia, education was at a place there in the 80s and the 90s where there was an opening for things to be different. And we've closed down so much now, and there are so many children and young people who are in deep difficulty, and families, of course, and we're not meeting them where they are. And it's still my passion to do that, which is why I'm going to talk about the next person. But it was certainly, thank you, Donna, for that inspiration and that guidance and validation of what I sort of already knew. Yeah.
But again, I obviously, you've credited Donna, but I'm now going to credit you. It's like, I remember conversations with you years and years ago, and you were so ahead of thinking. Like this is an established way of trying to support children. Okay, it's not actually hitting the mainstream, and certainly not the scale that we need to support the young people who are finding themselves trying to be fit into boxes they can't fit in. But I remember talking to you like 25 years ago about, you were very worried about young boys. And I remember at the time being all cross with you, because I was like, why are we talking about the boys? The girls are having a really hard time. This was 25 years ago. And you said something like, no, we need to keep an eye on the boys. The boys are falling behind. The boys are not getting what they need in their education. And now obviously we're seeing that playing out. We're seeing there's a lot of conversation about that currently. How are we? They feel failed, and they feel they're burdened through the kind of lens of the adjustments, if you like, in feminism and trying to get things into some sort of balance. And you called that a long, long time ago, and I know you called this meeting children where they are. I remember you saying that too, a long, long time ago. So it's like, there's such a big job still to be done, and I'm so glad you're still doing it. But I just wanted to acknowledge that you have been somebody always ahead of it. You see it coming and you say, I'm worried about this. And then you do something about it, which is remarkable. So I just wanted to say that. I haven't got anything more on that, but I just wanted to acknowledge it.
Yeah, thank you.
There we are.
Yeah, we're in, difficult times at the moment for sure, which is why my next person, which is Margot Sunderland, Dr. Margot Sunderland, who I met before you, I think, before I knew you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe not actually, maybe 25, 30 years ago. I think so anyway. She's an extraordinary woman. And the reason that I've chosen her is that she has, in the last part of my life, particularly this part, allowed me to be part of something which is transforming in terms of looking at education, because she's put together this extraordinary project called Trauma-Informed Schools and Communities UK. And I'm so delighted to be a part of it. I mean, I've created things in the past, I have, but this is absolutely the best thing I've ever been involved in, because what she's done is she's done all the research. So everything that we do, we run a diploma, which is an 11-day diploma for people working in schools. We run a community, a parents course, and so on. And everything is very much sitting in neuroscience, in sitting best psychotherapeutic research, societal research. And so she's given it such enormous welly. It's, now we can talk and say, actually, in the old days I was saying to you, well, we have to put the child at the centre of it. Yeah. Now I've got all of the research that says, of course, this is what you have to do, because this is what neuroscience tells us. And she's done that, and she's made her life in doing this. She's had such an impact. Well, she had an impact on me, but we have a team of people that are training people in this who are superb practitioners. So a wonderful group of big-hearted, passionate people who are working with teachers and other people in schools to make a difference. And we're in thousands of schools now, and I know that when we do the training on day one, people come in and they're sort of like not incredibly self-aware, maybe not really understanding. By day 11, because of the way the course is put together, because they have home groups when it's online with the psychotherapist and with teachers teaching us, it's a wonderful blend of psychotherapeutic healing ways. And we're not expecting people to be therapists. Therapy means healing. So we've mixed it and come up with this beautiful way of working, which is touching people's hearts and changes them, a number of them, over the course. And then that is what changes and touches children's hearts. And then they're given a life. They're given something that's exquisite, extraordinary, that if you and I had, Julia, God knows where we would be. You'd probably be the Prime Minister. I probably would be. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what. But anyway, that's Margot Sunderland, and she's an extraordinary woman. She's dedicated her life to this. She started off in therapy. She has the Institute of Arts and Therapy and Education. She's the director of that. But this particular thing, trauma-informed schools and communities UK, for me, has allowed me at the end of my life to be part of something which is profound. And Dr. Margot Sunderland, I thank you for that.
Oh, listen, I didn't expect her to not be on this list at all. I thought, if anything, we could have even started with her. I know she's a huge influence on you. I know you're so grateful for this opportunity. And everyone that is touched by this, that's what I meant earlier by at scale. I'm so happy that everything that you are and that you've learned has been able to be amplified through the combination of you and Dr. Margot. And I love that your sense of things has been validated by science, because you're a feeling person, really. You like I know you well enough to know that you will study, you will learn the things you have to learn, but you're very intuitive. You're feeling the person energy and you're really reaching into them when you are doing your private one-to-one work, and then taking that and then kind of applying it to a platform and a method that can be scaled not just for the children that are impacted today, but with all that training of the trainers and having them be different, that's going to then proliferate across. If you say it's 1,000 schools now, just how many children are being affected by that is extraordinary. So I'm sort of, that's where I get my pride in being your friend. I go, yeah, Anna, she's my mate, because I just see all this that you're doing, and I'm just incredibly proud of you, which gives me some sense of pride as being somebody that you care about. And I get exactly what you mean in terms of, it does make a difference if people meet you where you are. It really does. You and I both know that from actual experience. So I'm thrilled. And I want to mention one thing, because you haven't said it. I also love how you come at this with such a compassion and lack of judgment towards people who are the caregivers of these children. That you work with them, you love them too, and you work with them for them to heal themselves, to then be the parent that everybody wants to be. It's just circumstance and bad luck and things. A whole range of things can cause you to not be the parent that we all desperately want to be. And I love how you kind of embrace all of that and say, right, it's not just working with the child. We have to work with the family too and help them. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Thank you, because it segues in for me, because I suppose the end of all of the people so far, and I've got one more person to go, but what I do now, Julia, is this project that's called What Comes Around Goes Around. And I guess what it is love, really, love and compassion. And about a couple of years ago, I got involved with the local school, and as a result of it, started to see a group of parents. And I wanted, Pat and Jean left me this house. I wanted to give something so people who can never get psychotherapy, who can never have that, for all sorts of reasons, and particularly financial. I wanted to do something where I could put something in that could go around again. So I saw 5 families, and I see them therapeutically in a healing way of supporting them. And the intent is to teach them how to do what I do in order for them to impact out, so our community grows. And another very dear friend of mine, Julia Harmison, who you know as well, she's been working with this 5 boys that are involved in this and their families, and she's worked with the children. I've worked with the parents, and we met last week actually to create this really big. We're going to go for big funding to get because Solcombe is a fractured community, because there's so much wealth and so much unwealth, so much poverty, so many people using our church as a food bank. There's such a mismatch of it's such inequality, so what we're hoping to do is to really do that. And the people that are part of this project, for me, I really love them, and I hope to God they've really, really got it, that life happens. We don't mean to make mistakes. We don't mean to screw up. Just life happens, and all we can do is join hands together and see what we can do differently. So that's the sort of, in terms of my working life, that's the not the end of it, because I hope to God I can go on a bit longer. That's why I go swimming every day. And then that leads me to my last person, which is my partner, Sue, who is, we've been together for 10 years. We don't live together. We did do for a while. We're incredibly different to each other. She's on the avoidant end and I'm on the other end of the spectrum in terms of attachment, though we've both of us, of course, done a lot of work. She's a poet. She writes the most beautiful poetry. I've learned so much from her. I've learned about patience and tolerance and doing things differently, about not getting my head away, about humility in terms of relationship, of seeing that there is another way. So it's had its ups and downs, as you can hear.
Yeah.
But the thing I think that has made my life so good one of the things we laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh again. And she has similar things, passions about animals, the world, the environment, swimming. She's worse than me. She stays in longer than me. And I'm very, very pleased that in the last part of my life, I'm with somebody who is so different to any other partner I've had and has challenged me in ways that are extraordinary and helped me to grow as well. So that's Sue.
Oh, well, listen, I'm glad she made the list. You'd been big trouble with me if she hadn't been. What can I say about Sue? I get it. I mean, I've known you a long time. So probably 20 of those years you weren't with Sue. And again, I can totally relate. We're both quite strong women, you and I. And we are used to getting our way. We're used to making decisions and not necessarily having them challenged. And, you know, I have exactly the same experience with Catherine. She says to me, I say, right, we're doing this. And she'll say, oh, no, I don't think so. And I'll be like, what? This has never happened. And it's it is a really necessary thing for people like you and I who have survived and thrived because of our self-reliance, because we had to dig into who we were and what all our own resources. And then you finally meet somebody who says, oh, no, you don't have to carry this on your own, Julia Bird, that is, and me. I can carry it with you, but you are going to have to understand that there's compromise and partnership in this. And when I see you and Sue together, and I know the laughing, I've been privy to that too, but also there's a deep soulfulness between you both. And Sue is a soulful person. I mean, gosh, her poetry is extraordinary. I don't normally like poetry, I'll be honest, but I love her poetry. It touches me, honestly. And the book she wrote about her mother and her dementia decline was so powerful. It was incredible. And she lives it. She doesn't just write about it. She lives it. When I think about even her property and how it looks out over the ocean, I can just picture her doing her writing. She's a true artist, you know, a true, deeply, deeply spiritual person. And you two make an extraordinary couple. And I'm glad to know her too. She's not somebody I would say I know because of the avoidant thing. I know what you mean. There's a little bit of her that she's such a precious soul. It's like she knows that she needs to protect herself. And I'm probably represent something quite noisy and exterior when I crash into Salcombe with all my entourage. But the moments I have had with her where it's just us talking, and we can tune that all out, have been wonderful. I've really always enjoyed talking with her. So, yeah, good. Anything more to say about Sue?
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, bless your heart. Oh, well, we're rattling through this, Julia. I think there's some good stuff here. But I think normally at this point, I would ask what you see in each of these. I mean, it's obviously very evident, the impact. You've already talked about that. But, you know, if you had to describe some of the things that have come through the investment of these 5 people in your life. Okay, Leonard was an influencer, not necessarily somebody you knew. But, you know, what do you celebrate about you? What do you see in them that you've inherited or you've been directly impacted by and that you carry forward and carry with you today? Is there anything specifically that you'd want to sort of draw out from that?
Gosh, I was thinking what really matters to me now. So they must be part of that. Love and compassion and humility are hugely important for me. And passion, passion to leave something better. I suppose for me in my life, when I die, I really want to go saying, I haven't just taken something, I've given back, and that's terribly important to me. I don't have any children, and so it's I suppose those the values that I have, Julia, and all of them are part of that, whichever way it's led me to this, which is sort of multi-layered really and complex. Yes.
I agree with all of that.
I sort of looking at them all now in my head,
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them with such love in my heart and such appreciation, such appreciation. And there's other people for whom I have those experiences as well, thank God.
Yeah.
Lucky me.
And yes, lucky you in that way. And because I aspire to that too. I aspire to like being able to sit and reflect and just feel all that love and investment. And I do have it. I know it. I'm still developing it and still growing it. But I know that it's what true. I mean, people talk a lot. I mean, I work a lot in the sort of the field of business, and many parts of my life are rightfully so driven around sort of growth and profitability and all that kind of. I work in that world, but actually true wealth, true meaning, true impact is the people that love you and you love in return, and and you carry them with you. And I've started doing something recently, Julian, and I it's just something. I just started doing it. I didn't read it anywhere. I just started doing it. I'm not the world's best sleeper. I don't know if I've mentioned that before on the podcast, but I've started, rather than sitting and worrying about it, my mind will scan around and think of a person or a memory, and then I will sit and land on that person or that memory and really, really think about it, and really, like you just did then, absorb it all in and go, I remember that. And I don't know, it just seems to be something that's really makes me very peaceful. It makes me feel very, at complete contentment and rest. And it's just something I've just started doing. It's probably very weird, but I loved that moment just now where you just sat back and went, yeah, I'm just going to think about these people for a minute. I really like that.
Sure.
So, all right. Next bit is, and some people, I meet them when they're in their sort of 40s and 50s, and they're full of idealism about what they're going to do next. But I already know what you're going to do next. You're going to keep going with what you're already doing. There isn't anything next, is there? There's just a building of all of this, or is there? Is there something else you're plotting and planning?
Well, I can't envisage me stopping doing what I'm doing until something stops me, like my body or my brain, that stops me. I can't, because I get so much from it. I get it makes me alive, and I guess that I would like to be able to be still.
With a bit of peace.
With greater ease. I do. I'm so lucky to have the peace that I have, and the acceptance, and the word that I couldn't even remember when I was for years, which is surrender. Yeah. Those of us who have a touch of omnipotence due to having to survive awful things, to surrender is a very, very hard concept, because to let go means to die when you're a baby. So, for some of us, when we were babies, it was touch and go. I think that it was live or die, and for whatever reason, I lived, you lived, survived it. So to actually surrender means dying. In that old brain part of ourselves, because if that's the truth, so our brain believes that to surrender now means that death, that pain, that awful loneness, and so on and so on. And of course it doesn't, because, but we have to learn that somehow. So to get to the place of surrender and stillness and allowing has been a bit of a challenge for me in my life. And I suppose in terms of next steps, I would like to enter into that and with greater acceptance, greater capacity.
To be still. Julia Bird, to be still. I'm not hopeful. I wish it for you, but I'm not hopeful. I think there's so much about you. There's so much energy. There's so much creativity and so much desire to make an impact, to make a difference. And I think you see every single child in pain as an emergency. And I think as you say, as long as your brain and body will hold out, you will continue ringing that bell to say, this is an emergency. These children need our help. And I do wish you peace, and you deserve it. But I think all as long as there are kids out there that need what you have to offer, you're going to keep ringing those bells, I think. Well, Ms. Bird, I don't know if you've thought about this last question. I really hope you have. But the last question is, who should I speak to next and why? And I think...
Who should you speak to next?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I think Margot Sunderland would be a great one to speak to.
Yes, please. I'd love that. If you could make that happen, I'll be very pleased with that.
I'll certainly talk to her about it, Julia. She's had such a interesting life, and ongoingly so, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll be honoured. I mean, if you're listening now, I would absolutely be honoured. Well, please do share this with her. I think the people that you've talked about, that's one of the reasons I do this, Julia, is I know you are very good at sharing your feelings towards people. I know the people you love know that they're loved. You know, I feel it. Other people feel it, I'm sure. So it's not like the 4 people that you can actually send this to would go, oh, I didn't know you felt that way about me. But I think it's so nice when, and it's one of the reasons I do this, that there is a platform for giving space for honouring people that really have impacted you and giving thanks for it. So I do hope you share this episode with them when it's published. And I think, well, I think they'd love to receive it. So, but thank you for today. I knew it was going to be, the reason we've rattled through it is not because we've rattled through it. It's because you are so articulate. You know what you want to say, and you say it in such an impactful way. It's almost like, yeah, job done. There it is. That's the message I was going to give, and it's given. And for me, it's like, yeah, okay, let's move on to the next one then, because there isn't anything more to say. And maybe that's a little bit of the Julia magic as well. That ability to kind of zone in, say what needs to be said, really land it in an impactful way. And you haven't got time to really expand upon it. It is that's the essence. That's the message. And I, as somebody who's spent many, many hours with you, you've filled my heart. You've filled my soul. I learned so much from you, continue to. And I know we don't see each other as much now. And I think partly because I am happier. I think I used to come and see you because I was less happy. And you were always there for me, Julia. So I want to give my thanks to you. You are a hugely important person to me. And I'm glad I've got to share you today with everybody else. So thank you for taking the time.
It's been a pleasure, Julia, and you too filled my heart. So I thank you. Thank you for knowing you.
Bless you. Okay, now we stop. The wonderful Julia Bird there. I just absolutely love her, which I think is pretty obvious. If you did too, please like, subscribe, comment, get involved somehow. I always love hearing from you. And next week, I have Jed Hallam, another treat for you. Jed was introduced to me by Jess Gregson. If you remember her from season 2 of Toby Hat fame, go back and listen if you want to know what I'm talking about. And Jess is super cool. And I guess therefore, you'd expect somebody that she puts forward to be as cool, and Jed is definitely that. He's a really interesting guy, very, very well read, very articulate, and loves his music to a depth that, you'll see. I was a bit intimidated by, to be honest. But you're going to love this one. He's a real culture, trend setter, trend follower, and trend, I suppose this is his life. He follows trends. So his commentary is super interesting, and I think you're going to really love it. So until then, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next week with Jed. Take care. Bye.